Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast with your hosts, Reese Downing and Jacob Workman.
What's going on?
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Ready 2 days from now for my team to take the field.
Oh, yeah, that's true. 2 days for you to take the field here, and you're currently recovering. For those of you who don't listen to our college edition, number one, you should. For those who don't listen to the college edition, Workman went to the Florida State game in Orlando and is currently recovering. So if he sounds a little bit more raspy than usual, that would be why. It's a
Trying
good
to get
raspy,
the voice
though.
back. Trying to get
That's
it back.
right. Yeah, he was calling plays for Norville from the stand. So this is the Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast NFL edition. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, I am Reese Downing. With me is Jacob Workman. We are really excited because this is the week, man. We've been trying to pull together some good content for you guys as we lead up to the regular season. Week 1 is now officially here. We are ready to go. Super excited about being able to pick these games. We've got some newsworthy stuff to jump right into here that lands really well with the first game of the week. So, Workman, if you don't have anything else to add on, we can jump right into it.
Nope, I'm ready to go.
All right. So we're kicking off week 1 with a bang. We've got the Detroit Lions coming to Arrowhead to visit the Kansas City Chiefs. That game is on Thursday. Starts at 8:20. The current line is -5.5 Kansas City. There are a couple key newsworthy things to discuss here as we're discussing who we're going to pick with this game. Travis Kelce, very, very recently hyperextended his knee during practice. They have already gone through and done their checks. He luckily did not tear an ACL. Thankfully for Kansas City, for Travis Kelce, and also for my fantasy team. He did avoid that ACL injury, but he is doubtful currently for the Thursday night game. So couple that with Chris Jones still being on lockout. How do you feel about this game on Thursday with all this up in the air, a lot of gas behind this Lion team? This just adds more fuel to the fire for the potential for Detroit to come out and get a season opening victory. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, to me, the big deal still is Chris Jones. The Lions offensive line is one of the better units in the NFL, and Chris Jones is a huge factor. Him not being there is gigantic. Now Kelce is huge also just because the Lions did go out and improve their secondary quite a bit. And without Kelce, and I know Kadarius Toney has actually been battling some injuries too. He is going to play and he's been fine, but to have him even banged up a little bit, I love the Lions situation. Let's put it that way. My pick is Kansas City -5.5. I can't be too much of a homer in this pick. This is still Mahomes at Arrowhead. And I mean, anything under a touchdown, I think I've got to stay with Kansas City. Plus, we don't even know if Kelce's not playing. So I think this is the time, actually. Jump on it while it's low, because I think if Kelce's back to playing, it probably jumps back up to 6.5. So give me Kansas City minus the 5.5, unfortunately. I do think the Lions battle like hell in this game, and they're going to be in it at the end. There's going to be a chance to win this game, no doubt.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. I've got the Chiefs here in a close game in Arrowhead, taking minus the 5.5. I do think this is going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a good test for Detroit to start the season. And what a hell of a way to kick off the year, man, to see the defending Super Bowl champs against a team that, all things considered, could very possibly be in the playoffs, playing a game at home this year for the first time in, I can't even tell you how long.
I think since 92.
92? Yeah, there you go. That's insane. So, looking forward to this. Hell of a way to kick off the season. So let's move into Sunday games. That's our Thursday game. Starting off Sunday here, we're going to take a look at the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are currently sitting at -3.5. That's a 1 p.m. game. Rookie quarterback Bryce Young and company against second-year QB Desmond Ridder and the Falcons in Atlanta. First glimpse of the highly touted Bijan Robinson. Potential game changer here is Bryce has played in the stadium a couple times, so he could be potentially familiar with the atmosphere. It's going to be a fun game to watch in a wide open NFC South. I'm going to take the Panthers here plus the 5.5. Who do you have?
You have it. So I actually had the line at 3.5. It's 5.5.
Or 3.5. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's why I wanted to make sure. I was like, we're getting 5.5.
I'm just
So
making
I'm
sure
with
you're
you.
paying attention.
No, I'm with you. Same thing. I'm with Carolina. I don't think either of these teams is good enough to be favored by more than 3. Just give me the points. One note is Brian Burns might not be playing just because of the contract issue. I don't know if it's officially came out yet, if he is going to be playing or not. Obviously, Brian Burns and Knoll is a huge deal to be on the field. But either way, I'm still taking Carolina plus the 3.5.
Very good. All right. Next game here, we've got the Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are sitting at -10. This is also a 1 p.m. game. This is my lock of the week. Stroud has had an up and down preseason. It's not an easy draw defensively to kick your NFL career off playing at Baltimore against this Ravens defense. Lamar Jackson's also coming back from injury. He's got a new offense under Todd Monken. All things here point to a rough start for CJ Stroud's career. So I am taking Ravens minus the 10 on this one.
Yep, I'm with you. Baltimore -10, as we talked about in our preview last week. I have them winning the division. I love this team. 10 is a lot for week 1, but I think it's deserved for this matchup.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, let's keep it in the AFC here. Cincinnati Bengals are sitting at -2.5 at the Cleveland Browns. Also a 1 p.m. game. It does sound like Burrow is on the right track to get started here, so it sounds like he is going to be getting the start coming off that calf strain. He's coming in with a stronger offensive line than last year, which he's going to need up against Myles Garrett in this Browns front. The Browns are coming in with some higher expectations. You know, they get Deshaun Watson in his first full year, where they paid him a shitload of money to come in and win football games. So he's got some pressure on him, but this is going to be his first full year with the team. A lot of expectations to perform better than last year. I think this is going to be a tight game with it being in Cleveland, but I'm going to take Bengals by a field goal, so I'll take Cincy minus the 2.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got Cincinnati minus the 2.5 also. Said today, Burrow seems like he's on track to be playing. That's really the only issue I have. Like, is he good? Because as long as Burrow's good, I think Cincinnati's good. I think Cleveland's a good team. Their defense is very good, and that actually kind of worries me with Burrow a little bit, just because if he can't move, he's restrained a little bit.
Yeah,
Myles Garrett's going to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like the Cincinnati minus 2.5 to start it.
Cool. All right, next game here we have the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting at -4.5 at the Indianapolis Colts. That's a 1 p.m. start time. This game would be a little more interesting if Jonathan Taylor weren't throwing a pouting fit and sitting and not playing for the first 4 games. Everyone's pretty convinced that Jacksonville's going to run away with this division this year. And I've even seen some people having Jacksonville sitting at the top of the conference heading into the playoffs, which I think is a little bit of a stretch, but maybe not. You know, Trevor Lawrence is another year under his belt. He's got some new additions on the team, including guys like Calvin Ridley and Tank Bigsby. It's going to be interesting to see how new rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson performs. He's going to get his first shot to play at home, so it'll be a little bit more of a comfortable environment. Unfortunately for the Colts faithful, I don't see this being a field goal to separate the game, so I'm going to take Jacksonville minus the 4.5. What do you got here?
Yep, I'm with you. Exact same thing. Jacksonville minus 4.5. I don't think the Colts are ready yet. They've got a lot of issues going on. Until the Jonathan Taylor situation's finalized, which that might not even happen. It could just be he sits out all year. I like Jacksonville minus the 4.5, and I have seen that with you, them being number 1 in the AFC, which I agree is a stretch. But when you look at the schedule, I mean, it is pretty favorable, and I think the only team really that contends with them is Tennessee. I think Tennessee is their only true threat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure, their only true threat, and I think that's part of it is because they've got 6 games in the AFC South, so it makes sense. But it's still a little bit of a stretch, I think, for them to be able to get that top seed.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see. All right. Next game here, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are -6. This is also a 1 p.m. start. Looks like Baker's going to be getting the starting job, at least to start the season anyway, over Kyle Trask. There are some question marks around Mike Evans and how much longer he's going to be in a Bucs uniform. We'll see how long Todd Bowles' defense can keep Kirk Cousins, Hawkinson, Jefferson, Addison, and company from catching fire there. I think the Bucks can get off to a slow start in this game, especially because they've had some stuff going on here recently internally. Vikes are going to take advantage of home field, so I'm going to take Minnesota minus the 6.
Yeah, just because they're the home team, I'm taking Minnesota minus the 6. I don't like this game at all. Like, this is probably my least confident of any pick this week. I'll take Minnesota minus the 6, but I've mentioned before I don't like them this year at all. But
yeah,
I do when they're playing Tampa, I give them a little bit of a benefit of a doubt.
Yeah. All right. Moving right along here, the Tennessee Titans at New Orleans Saints. Saints are sitting at -3. This is also a 1 p.m. start time. Derek Carr's campaign as a Saint begins against a Tennessee team that is tough against the run, but not so much against the pass. You couple that with the Saints front seven. I think New Orleans has enough to get their first win of the season here at home. So I'm taking the Saints -3.
Yep, I'm right there with you again. I love the Saints at home. I love their offense. Saints -3.
All right. Let's move on to the next game here. We have the San Francisco 49ers sitting at -2.5 at Pittsburgh Steelers. That's also a 1 p.m. start time. I'm a little surprised at the spread here, especially considering Shanahan historically plays pretty well on the East Coast. I know there's some QB concern there, but Shanahan's inventive and he typically gets the ball moving, seemingly despite who's playing quarterback or running back. Steelers do have a tough defense. There is a little bit of hype around Kenny Pickett taking the next step and we'll see how he ends up. Before I choose my selection here, what are you picking?
Yeah, I'm taking Pitt. I love them plus the 2.5. Bosa might not be playing. Another star defensive player holding out. I love what Pitt's done. I picked them to make the playoffs. I really like that this is a home game for Pitt and San Francisco. I mean, you still have Purdy coming off the injury and Bosa not being there. I think those are huge deals. And Pitt, there's a lot of momentum behind what Pitt's offense did in the preseason. So I'm going to take Pitt plus the 2.5.
Yeah, so I'm actually with you on this. So I thought about this quite a bit. I was really leaning towards this because I thought this spread was going to be better or a little larger just because of the team that San Francisco has been here recently in recent history. But I like what Pittsburgh's doing there. I'm interested to see that step forward for Kenny Pickett. And yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers plus the 2.5 as well. So I thought we may have been a little different there, but landed in the same spot.
Yeah, if there was a game that we were going to disagree on, I thought it was going to be that one. So it's an interesting turn.
All right, let's keep it moving here. The last of our 1 p.m. games. We have the Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. Arizona is marching out Colt McCoy with Kyler Murray's absence while having God knows who to throw to. Add that with a rookie head coach and Jonathan Gannon, who has some very odd motivational speaking approaches as they enter the nation's capital to meet Sam Howell. Workman, I don't know if you got here in a car or on a bus, but you better have some fire in your gut when you pick this.
That was one of the dumbest that couldn't have motivated anyone. Like, that was awful. They just looked around like, who the hell, who at the bus here? Like, what? Yeah. No one understood what he was talking about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure half the team was like, who the hell is this guy? Is he our new coach? Like, they didn't even know.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so they're entering the nation's capital to meet Sam Howell and the newly revamped offense under new OC Eric Bieniemy. I'll be surprised if Arizona wins more than 2 or 3 games all year, to be honest with you. And I don't think this is going to be one of them. Although that spread is a little iffy, sitting at a -7 versus a 6.5. I'm still going to take the Commanders -7.
Yep, right there with you. I'm sticking with Washington -7. I was a little intrigued when they said that they do expect Kyler to play later this year. I'm like, why? Why play him? Like, just get your good draft pick and don't even. I mean, yeah. I almost wonder if he's played his last game for them already.
It's definitely possible if they're intelligent and if they have an honest approach to trying to go get Caleb Williams in the draft next year, then they would keep him healthy so they can use him as trade target. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, let's kick off some 425 games, starting with Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears, who are sitting at -1.5. Again, this game starts at 425. Jordan Love begins his career as a Green Bay starter by going into the Bears den to face Justin Fields in a revamped Chicago Bears offense. Love has gotten seemingly a lot of hype in the offseason as a replacement for Aaron Rodgers. He's got Christian Watson and Aaron Jones could be a little bit more further limited on weapons, whereas Justin Fields has a whole new slew of targets, including DJ Moore and Chase Claypool and all these guys. So I feel like this could be a bit of a trap game being at home. I'm going to take the Bears minus the 1.5 to start the season off.
Finally got a difference. So I took Green Bay plus the points. I'm still skeptical on the Bears, and I'm not as down on the Packers as most are. Aaron Rodgers, as he famously always said when he played them, he owned the Bears. So we do have him gone. So the Bears probably have something off their shoulders just in that aspect. But I still think Green Bay is going to be a good team. I'm pretty sure in our picks, I had them still even sneaking into the playoffs as the 7 seed. But I do like them to get the start here with the win. I'm not even taking the point, just an outright win for Green Bay.
Got it. All right, let's keep it moving to the next 425 game. We have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. Broncos are currently sitting at -4. Denver is coming into the season with a new head coach and longtime Saint head coach Sean Payton, and a fresh start for Russ Wilson, who did not have a good year last year, but is looking like a brand new man coming into the season. Javonte Williams is likely to see a pitch count coming into this game that could last for upwards of a month, if not longer, as he's trying to recover from that ACL tear. Jerry Jeudy, last time I looked, is also questionable for this game. Meanwhile, you've got Josh McDaniels. He's bringing this team into mile high with somewhat limited offensive skill players. It does sound like Jimmy G is going to play, but I don't know that that's enough here. I'm going to take Denver minus the 4.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like the home debut for Sean Payton here and see if Russell Wilson can have a little bit of sign of life compared to last year. I do like what Oakland has on defense and even their offensive weapons, but I'm still going to take Denver minus the 4 here. I just think it's that game that they want to come out and show something to open the season.
Yep. All right. This is my favorite 425 game and possibly my favorite game of week 1. Miami Dolphins are going to LA to visit the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are sitting at -3. This is going to be a fun one, man. If you're a fan of offense, tune into this game. Mike McDaniel's offense looks to continue putting points up on the board against what I think is an underrated Chargers defense. Justin Herbert, meanwhile, is working with new OC Kellen Moore. He's expected to take a step forward this year. He should have a better year than last year. He didn't have a bad year last year, but he was also not healthy. I mean, he was dealing with some cracked ribs and some other things. The team itself also got hindered with some injuries, which seems to be pretty prototypical for the Chargers. I think this is going to be a shootout, and it's going to be a tough call sitting at -3. I'm big on Miami. I think Miami is going to come out and win the AFC South, but I don't think they're going to win this first game. I'm going to take LA at home -3 to kick off the season with the win. That said, I would not be surprised if Miami takes this one.
Yeah. Sorry, am I there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. Miami plus the 3 is my pick for this game. I still just love this team. I love what they've done in the offseason. Unfortunately, I wish Jalen Ramsey was here for this game, but I am very big on Miami this year. And the Chargers, I was a little bit more down on. I think it starts right here. The Chargers are not a team that has a home field advantage when they play at home, so it's kind of irrelevant. I will take Miami plus the 3 to start the year. Miami inside on a fast track. I think this is going to be nothing but fireworks to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one for sure. All right. Next, we've got the Eagles sitting at -3.5 at the New England Patriots. That's also 425 start. Philly's a different looking team this year. They've lost some players and personnel compared to last year. Still high powered. They have a young, fast defense that can create turnovers and wreak some havoc. I think the key here is how they perform against the Patriots defense, which is going to be a tough first game. I do think the new OC Bill O'Brien keeps this a little closer than expected. Eagles win here. I am going to take the 3.5 with New England.
So I went the other way. I'm taking Philly. New England just hasn't shown. New England just hasn't shown me enough to believe that they're ready to contend on this level right now. I think Philly's too much. Even week 1 at -3.5, taking Philly, and I think this is more of like a 7.5. I think Philly beats them pretty easily.
All right, let's kick off this last 425 game. It is the Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is sitting at minus 5.5, the 425 game. The Rams are coming into the season maybe slightly healthier than last year, but perhaps I might be speaking a little too soon. It sounds like Cooper Kupp is dealing with a hamstring injury. If he's not able to go, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that leaves Van Jefferson as the number one receiver. Meanwhile, Seattle's looking to build upon their success last year. They've added a couple pieces. They did lose Rashad Penny, but they've retained Kenneth Walker. They've added some weapons on the receiving core. Um, Still led by Geno Smith. I can see Geno continuing the momentum from last year here. That offense performed pretty well against some tight teams, good games. I'm going to stick with Seattle at home here. So I'll go Seattle minus the 5.5.
Yeah, this is a huge deal. Cooper Cup this changes my whole outlook for the season. I had him making the playoffs, sneaking in as a wild card. There's no chance if he's not healthy. And a hamstring injury that's lingering, I don't think it's a good thing. I'm taking Seattle minus 5.5, and hopefully Cooper is back soon, because if not, it's going to be a long season.
What do you think is going to happen with Sean McVay if we go through another season like that?
I think he's going when Stafford and Donald go. And there's been a lot of talk that if the Rams aren't having a great start to the year, that Donald might be a trade deadline player for a team that's contending. So there's one of them gone immediately. Stafford's not going to continue to play if that's the situation either. At the end of the year, he'll retire. So it truly might be the end.
You think McVay retires completely, or do you think he just takes a couple years off like Peyton did and then comes back? He's so young.
Yeah, I think it's more a year off. I don't see him just flat out retiring, and I don't really think he's going into TV yet either. Like he's a coach. Like you can tell he's a football coach. Maybe 1 year of TV, but he'll be on the field somewhere.
I agree. All right. Let's kick off this last game on Sunday night. The Dallas Cowboys sitting at minus 3.5 at the New York Giants. That is an 8:20 start time. The Cowboys are coming into the season off a playoff win against Tom Brady and then a subsequent difficult loss against the 49ers at Jerry World. Worked on revamping the team on both sides of the ball, including a first-round pick to solidify some interior defensive linemen, another wide receiver to complement Dak and Brandon Cooks. They further bolstered the defensive back room with the addition of Stephon Gilmore. With Dan Quinn's defense and Micah Parsons taking the lead, the Cowboys are entering another season with a lot of hype. On the other side of things, the Giants are coming in here with Daniel Jones under a new contract, a healthy Saquon Barkley. They've added Darren Waller to the team and a couple other pieces. These Cowboys-Giants games can be very close. I don't think this one's going to be a 3.5 point close, so I'm going to take my Dallas Cowboys to start the season 1-0 and cover that 3.5.
Yeah, I'm not too sure who wins this game, to be honest. I think it's a very good game. I'm going to take the points just because I like the 3.5. Dallas could easily win this game by 3, I think. I think it's a very good game. I think the Giants offense is much improved, and obviously the Cowboys defense is good. So that's going to be the bet. That's the story of the game. Unless Dak just comes out and throws like 4 picks, then obviously we have a different story. But to me, it's Giants offense versus Cowboys D. I like them to keep it close. I'll take the 3.5 with the Giants.
Okay. All right. Well, this is the kickoff, or the final game, I should say, of week 1, and it ends with a bang. We have the Buffalo Bills sitting at minus 2.5 at the New York Jets. 8:15 start time. This is one hell of a way to finish week 1. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets are coming up against Josh Allen and the Bills. This division is arguably the toughest in the league, and it's very possible that these two plus Miami are just going to beat the hell out of each other all year. We're going to have some really good games between these 3 teams. This is a really interesting matchup of 2 teams that have both good offense and good defense. Who are you thinking about here?
So my big hot take last week was the Bills don't make the playoffs. I think it starts right here. I'm taking the Jets plus the 2.5. I think they win the game outright. Big debut for Aaron Rodgers. I might be completely wrong, but in my mind, I see Bills regression. So I like the Jets to start the season here and to get the win.
Okay. Yeah. I don't see the regression that you see with the Buffalo Bills. I think it's going to be definitely a tougher test as the Jets have continued to improve. Like I said, they're going to beat the hell out of each other. So I don't know how that's going to end up breaking out when the playoffs come, because I can see all three of these teams making the playoffs. I am taking the Jets here to cover and win the game at home to kick off the season. But I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo ends up taking this. Like, Buffalo still has a really, really strong defense. They've added some pieces on offense, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm taking the New York Jets to win this at home. All right. Well, those are our week 1 picks. We will get these posted up on our socials. And with it being week 1, we will begin next week with recapping these games, having some conversation around what happened with that. And then going on to week 2, and we'll announce and keep track of our individual records. If you guys have any locks for the week that you would like to share and have us bring up in the show, please at us. We've got our Twitter handles, or our X handles, I guess you should say, down here below. I am at Z Reese Downing, and he is at Jacob Workman. If you want to at the show.
Sorry, we need to pick our locks.
Oh, that's right. We didn't pick our locks, did we?
It just hit me. Yeah, when you said that, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even pick a lock.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I may have already mentioned this earlier in the show, but my lock of the week is going to be the Texans at the Ravens -10. I don't think that game is going to be close. That's a big spread, but I think Baltimore just routes them.
Yeah, if you listened to the episode a week ago, this is not what you would have thought you would have heard me say, but I'm taking Seattle -5.5 as my lock. That's a huge deal to the Rams, and I'm not sure the offense is going to do anything. I'm very interested to see what happens with the Rams offense Sunday. Let's put it that way. But for now, I'm taking Seattle -5.5 as my week 1 lock.
Okay. All right. So we've got, I'm taking the Ravens -10 as my lock, and Workman is taking Seattle -5.5 against the Rams as his lock. All right. So just quickly here, our Twitter handle for our individual Twitter handles are here on the screen. Just in case you aren't looking at this and you're listening to it, it's at Z Reese Downing for myself, at Jacob Workman for Workman. And then we also have our show handle. This is the same across all socials. It is TUESNIGHT TD Pod. And that is our handle for everything. So at Tuesday Night TD Pod, you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. We'll be getting some of our other channels here set up shortly. You guys can obviously find us on the YouTube channel. We will be also posting on some of our other audio only platforms like Apple and Spotify here soon. So thank you guys for sticking through it as we kind of work the kinks out on this show and continue to move forward into the season. Workman, you have anything else to add before we sign off here?
No, only I would like to make an announcement. Eat them up.
Oh, Jesus.
Eat them up.
I don't know if it's
I think I just got the sign of death as I was saying eat 'em up Lions. It muted me. So
I was gonna
everyone
say,
go bet the Chiefs -5.5. That's not
you just got muted by the computer. So I don't know if that's Dan's like, come on, man. Don't jinx us, man.
Even AI knows that the Lions are in for it.
Lions are gonna Lions. All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good week. Good luck betting, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday next week.
See you, everyone.